before we launched this platform, we did a lot of work on the ground, and we went to people to actually understand how can we involve people. One of the ideas that we had was, we can probably talk to people and ask them who they think is probably the most impactful figure in history, right? Something like what the greatest Indians try to do, but at a larger scale and all that. And then we actually talked to more and more people, and we actually went to about 1,800, 2,000 people, right? So one constant answer we used to get is that, yeah, it does not matter as much to me what somebody else has done, I have done this at some point of time in my life, or somebody else who's close to me or not so close to me has done something for me, and that is history for me. That is the historical point of this. So the whole genesis of this idea is based on the insight that it's a very personal thing, for people. So history is not only about achievements of others; it's also their own achievements. However small or big you may think the outsider views it, for them it's big, right? For a woman who's been working for 10 years to quit a job and have her first baby, okay, is as historical for her own in her personal life as probably some big achievement of somebody else is for someone, right? So people believe that they have actually been impacted by history much more personally, and that's where we thought we should create a platform for people to actually share what they believe has been historical in their lives, or what's the history they have made, or what's the history somebody close to them has made, right? Somebody helping somebody out in times of extreme distress, okay, unnoticed by anybody but noticed by me, right, is historical for me. From what we know in school, we think history is about other people's achievements, right, or people who are dead and people who have gone by, right? But one of the things about India today is, if you look at it, much like you are, right, almost 65 to 70% of the country is under 30. For them, 1990 is like the past, right? So it does not matter beyond a point, okay, fine, the freedom struggle was good and lots have been said and done, and therefore we should know what has happened. But that's not relevant to people's lives anymore in a way that it impacts them on a daily basis or whatever. So the insight here is that history is about achievement. That's all we are saying. We are not trying to change the definition. History is about achievement. But the achievement can be of anyone, right? People who are somebody who's there today, somebody who's not necessarily labeled as a celebrity, but he's doing extraordinary stuff. So that's what, if you look at the channel's programming, there are truckers who are doing some, really brave stuff. There are people who are really, kind of shooters who are doing interesting stuff. There are people who are connected to food who are doing very, interesting stuff. People who are actually getting into various devices and trying to find out how things work, who actually, there are inventors who are doing some great work. There are people in the natural history side who are doing some great work. So there is, across the field, you will have people who are achieving something, and that's what we're trying to do. The whole programming proposition is about achievement. So it's not very, it's not changing the definition of history, but actually changing the lens at which we use to look at history. Very clearly, one of the big things that has happened with the channel is that we are not appealing only to history buffs, right? We're not appealing to Ramchandra Guha alone. It's actually the younger audiences. Our core audience is now 15 plus, 15 to 25, 35 also consume. We have a 500,000 Facebook community. Okay, now that's something that wouldn't have happened if we were to not change the lens, right? So the USP of the channel is that it actually appeals to a younger audience as well. So that's why we did all kinds of things which were unexpected. Getting Salman is also unexpected. Frankly, even you can say that, okay, you could have chosen another celebrity, right, who's more logically fitting, right? But then it would have killed the purpose of saying, okay, this is not history what you expect it to be, right? Unexpected, and he's also a very intelligent person. If you heard the conversation today, you cannot pin him down to anything. It's not easy, okay? You can see how Rajdeep was pinned down by him, right? So he's got a public image, okay, which is again endears him to all kinds of people. Do you know that today Salman Khan actually has 1/3 of Facebook's fans? Facebook actually, all of Facebook today, if you divide by 3, Salman Khan, in terms of the number of people who are actually following him. So he appeals to younger audiences, he appeals to the poorer audiences, he appeals to SECA. They're one of the few people who actually can cut across anything, So I wouldn't really, the choice between us was to take a slightly more, positioned intellectual as against somebody who's positioned very unexpectedly, do anything. So we took the latter because we realized that that's what history needs. Otherwise, we'd be actually having older people who are interested in history trying to say, okay, fine, there is, and that's not what the channel is about. The channel is about actually much more fun, action, adventure as well. There's a layer of history. We're not trivializing history. But the idea is not to alienate people just because it is history. At the same time, it's entertaining television, right? Very good of Rajdeep and team to have agreed to this because what happens, like I said, the important thing here is for the property like Greatest Indian, which was done in the UK, US and various other places with BBC. It's a BBC owned format. That the important point here is debate. Exactly the kind of debate we were having today. what matters? Yeah, who's the greatest ever? Somebody who's more visible, or somebody whose contribution has been more impactful and widespread. So, like somebody asked me, what do you think your personal choice would be? So I said, MS Swaminathan probably, because we take food security in India for granted, right? And probably that's one. The Green Revolution has been one of the reasons why we don't talk about food anymore as much, right? So everybody will have a different view on who's the person they think has contributed the most. Whereas if you actually go and do a simple jury-based thing and not just by vote and all of that, you restrict it to that current flavor of the month, flavor of the year, flavor of the season kind of thing. So therefore, the idea is that we will use CNN IBN as a platform for debate. Even if a name gets thrown up by vote, saying why should he be? It's just because he's visible. So that debate hopefully will reshape people's opinion, saying, okay, no, let me not vote for him or her. Let me vote for somebody else who I think whose contribution is more important. And somebody as popular as a Salman saying, don't think about an actor or a cricketer when it comes to greatest ever, right? Their contributions are not necessarily the biggest and best. It's a very important point, and that's precisely that. For these kind of debates, CNN, IBN, and the news network is the best position to get into that kind of debate. His point was that even Mother Teresa probably is more popular, and therefore you think of Mother Teresa, but Sister Philomena, who's taken over from Mother Teresa, is not known as much, but she has also done as much or more, right? So it's about also creating awareness about people who have really contributed. Language availability is very, very simple. Okay, on DTH you can choose a language. On cable, the operator decides which language. This is geographical preference. So places like Kashmir, Uttar Pradesh, Andhra Pradesh, huge Urdu-speaking communities. Okay, so we basically want to target them as well. They have the option of watching Urdu. Plus, Urdu is one language that cuts across many states. Like if you look at Tamil, it will be in Tamil Nadu, right? Or Gujarati is Gujarati. But Urdu is actually, if you ask me, and that's what Rajdeep was telling me, after Hindi, you'll be surprised how big Urdu is. It's just that we don't realize it because there's a different setup, there's a different generation of people who are involved in Urdu. But when I said we want to get the younger audiences, and it doesn't mean that we want to alienate the older audiences or the people who are really out of this. So this is one of the ways of actually getting in a community that was not there with us earlier on because of language issues or whatever into it. So that our languaging experiment is all towards broad-basing the genre even further. That's really the whole objective of this. One of the things we are actually trying to go in a big way is basically, since we have Urdu, we have Bengali, we have Tamil, we're looking at the Indian subcontinent as well. You have Sri Lanka, you have Bangladesh, you have Pakistan, and various other places. So we're working towards, having a pan-SAARC, Southeast Asia kind of footprint. That's on the international level. On the marketing bits here, I think, enough and more is being done from time to time. This is also as much a marketing initiative, right? So we keep doing quirky stuff. Only thing is that we don't do the regular things. We think that, one, of course, India is being digitized even on television, right? June 2012, post 2012, hopefully this will work out much better than the cash spend. 2, 4G is going to come soon, right? So people are not necessarily going to watch only on television, right? Even content television that is actually being formatted, for television right now will need to be formatted for tablets and, various other handheld devices. 3, marketing. When you said marketing, awareness today is not through only hoardings or print or TV, right? I think the bigger way of getting people aware is in social media, in Facebook. Okay? And there are big challenges. It's not easy to say that, okay, fine, marketing on a Facebook is like, a piece of cake, because once you put an over tag of marketing onto something on Facebook, it dies. So we're building communities. So you're right. I mean, we'll keep building communities. We are the only factual player, in fact, to have a community as big as this. We have about 500,000 people on our Facebook site. You should go to the Facebook site of history and see that. See, the big challenge that we are always going to face in this market is of advertising yield, right? In terms of revenue, you will get advertisers, but there's a certain price at which you want to get that. Okay, so that's one challenge. 2, post our free window period of viewing it. So we're a paid channel, right? Subscription revenues are going to be another challenge, right? So our big challenge growing from here on is to take advantage of the environment to get in more subscription revenue eventually, and also to retain our yields in advertising. These are the 2 big challenges. The other big challenge could have been competition, but the way I look at it, the genre is growing. So after our launch, we've done, let's say, we've helped grow the genre by 60%. It's not that the others are sleeping, right? They've also woken up. They've also, there's more action in the factual entertainment or infotainment genre right now. Discovery is also very active. So it helps build traction for the overall genre. So I'm hoping that the pricing for the genre itself goes up. It is like news once, 5-7 years back. News was not almost treated like a separate genre. It was like, hai kahin to bhi. So I think, that challenge has become an opportunity for us right now to, say, take this genre and make it more mainstream and from an advertiser and subscriber point of view. In any case, viewers are consuming it, right? If 23 million people are watching only one channel like mine, there's obviously traction for the genre. Very decent. We can't share numbers right now, but like I said, I think more than the revenue, we are actually very, very happy about the fact that we've been able to stick to a certain price band on yield, and we're not going down below that. And that's really very close to the existing players or the tier 1 existing players, right? We would actually grow that also. We think that the tier 1 is also under monetized, but it is at tier 1.